participants. We're just going to wait like a couple of minutes before we get started. In the meantime, let us know in the chat what grade you're in, so we can kind of know what parts to especially highlight for our audience, whether that be grade 9, 10, 11. Oh, we have some grade 7s and grade 8s. That's so exciting. So for those of you guys in grade 8, have you applied for any regional programs?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Which ones?
AP.
Yes, we love to see it.
Fun fact, all 4 of us are from the AP. All 5 of us are from the AP program.
Yes. So for the person who did apply to AP, that's great because some of the courses we're going to be talking about today are AP courses. Of course, these courses are only offered in AP schools. So that could be, I think it's John Fraser if you're in Mississauga and Central Peel if you're in Brampton. So some of the courses we're going to be talking about are AP courses that you'd be able to take if you did decide to come to Central Peel or John Fraser.
I see someone else in the chat has applied to AP, SciTech, BT, IB, and 3 other high schools programs.
That is more than the amount of universities I've applied to. But hey, keeping your options open is a good thing.
All right, so we're just going to be waiting for a few more people to join before we get started.
Yes, strings is cool. Sia, you can tell us about that one.
I love strings, one of my favorite courses ever.
So kind of before we get started, we're going to be having like this question period at the end where we're going to be reading out some of the questions that you guys put on the Google form, but we're also going to be opening the chat up to any questions. So if anyone has any questions like right now before we start, you can put them in the chat. Hopefully we'll answer them during the presentation, but if we don't already have them in the presentation, then we can make sure to add those details as we go along.
नहीं तो कोड ड्रेस पर कोच रे
So just a housekeeping item, again, make sure that you keep your mic muted throughout the presentation. We don't want to interrupt anybody. And if you do have any questions, you can either put them in the chat or at the end, we're going to have a question period. So if you feel comfortable, you can unmute your mic and kind of have a one-on-one conversation with us. For all the new participants who just got here, why don't you let us know in the chat what grade you're in so we can know what kind of parts of the program, what courses to focus on the most.
I see in the chat that someone asked what the difference is between a high skills and regular regional programs. So high skills programs or high skills are just things like SHISM and basically things that the high school specializes in. For example, Central Peel has a SHISM for business and physical education, I believe, or sports. So basically, one of the opportunities you can get by going to a SHISM program is, I think you apply in grade 10 and you can do in grade 11, 12. So you have a bunch of co-op opportunities. And basically, I think 4 of your courses or 2 of your courses in your schedule will be meant to going to a different school and actually doing a job or a co-op opportunity.
So high skills programs, I think if you're referring to like SHSM, like SHISM is what we call that. Once you're in the school, it has to do with your home school. So if I live near a school that has like a hospitality SHISM, once I go to that high school, I think I can get involved in taking those courses and being part of that program. Whereas for regional programs, again, I'm not too familiar with what high skills means or entails, so maybe I'm totally off here. But for regular regional programs, so things like SciTech, IB, AP, the regional arts, you can go to a school that's not your home school. So for me, I live most closely to David Suzuki, but I go to Central Peel. And that's because of the regional program that I go to. So kind of the biggest difference is that for the high skills program or the SHISM in particular, it's at the school you would go to based on your geographic location. And for regional programs, you can pretty much go to any school within the Field District School Board if you get into that program.
And someone asked, what if you miss a deadline to select high school courses? So do not worry if you are in grade 8. I believe your guidance counselor will guide you through that, and you will have a whole selection process and a meeting and everything. Of course, regional program acceptances come out later than when high school courses are due. So what the process is, at least when we were in grade 8, is that we selected it in terms of going to our home school. And then our guidance counselor had an additional meeting afterwards where we were able to choose courses specific to the regional programs we did get accepted to, but this was after February, after we received our acceptances. And then the most recent question is high skills, for grade 9 and 10, and what happens after grade 10. So this is what Gerline explained previously, where you can only be accepted to a high skills program once you're in grade 10, and it would be at your home school. So I don't think you'd be able to go to a different school just to be a part of the high skills program. All right.
Yeah, I just Googled it, and I think we're right about the definition of high skill programs. So those are SHISMs. Okay, we can just wait until 2:10 and then we can get started. If anyone knows, again, like if you have any friends, you got a cousin who's going into grade 9 or grade 10 this year, and you know that they'd love to hear some of this information, make sure you just send them the Zoom link and we can wait for them to join as well.
And again, for those who are just joining, we'd like to reiterate any housekeeping rules, where we would ask you to keep yourself muted until the designated Q&A session where you are able to unmute yourself. Perfect. Okay, so I guess we can start now. We have a pretty good turnout. So Puneet, take it away.
So hey everyone, welcome to our last Sparking STEM Q&A session for this year. We'll have more next year, but for now, today we'll be talking about courses, how to select courses, what courses, and just the different courses in different years and how it works. So before we get into it, just a disclaimer that everything we say today are our opinions, nothing Central Peel or Sparking STEM. But yeah, let's move on. Continue.
Hello, so I'm Swati and I'm the data analyst for Sparking STEM. My name is Sharabi and I'm a grade 12 student and I'm also a data analyst for Sparking STEM.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Gerline and I am the PR coordinator for Sparking STEM. This is kind of just our team introduction. So we're all going to share our names, our positions, and kind of our favorite courses that we took in high school. So my favorite course that I took in high school was grade 12 law. I took that just this past quadmester, and I really enjoyed that class because we had a lot of discussions and we got to learn about current issues happening in the world.
So I'll just say my favorite class, and my favorite class was AP Psychology, and it was so fun learning about some things that we do ourselves and kind of learning about yourself. I think one of my favorite courses was grade 11 AP English, AP Language and Composition. It helped me learn about different things in our society, and it was fun analyzing different speeches and seeing different political figures and their writing pieces.
Hi everyone, my name is Sia Bhatti and I am the finance coordinator for Sparking STEM. And I guess one of my favorite courses I've taken in high school is grade 12 AP Advanced Functions. And I really like this course because I was able to, it was kind of like a challenge every single day, and I got to solve new problems and work on my analytical skills. I don't know if Panit's frozen or
Wait,
there.
sorry. I just had other internet connection. Yeah. So, hi guys, my name is Pani. I'm the activity coordinator for Sparking STEM, and my favorite course would be grade 9 AP French. And everyone else said something about it because they learned something. Mine, not necessarily because I enjoyed French. It is a cool subject. It's different for everyone, but I personally enjoyed that class because, well, it depends on the teachers who's in your class. It's overall a really fun class. And yeah, it can be depending on if you like the course or if you just have a fun class because of the teacher. Okay, so a quick overview of what we're going to go through today. So first, we're going to talk about My Blueprint, which is the website that you will be using to select your courses in high school. This tells you what prerequisites you need and all the other information you'll need to select the right course. Then we'll talk about grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 courses. And at the end, we'll have a quick Q&A session where you guys can ask any questions that you want, whether they were asked already or you think of other questions throughout the thing. You can just let us know in the chat, or at that time you'll be able to unmute yourself and ask whatever you need.
Okay, so we're going to be kind of talking about the steps to getting to My Blueprint and submitting your courses. So My Blueprint is a website that's used to submit courses. You're first shown this website in grade 8 by your guidance counselor, and you will use it in high school when it's time to pick courses for the next year. You can see the steps on the screen, but I'm going to kind of show them to you on my computer as well. Just a second. Can somebody confirm that you can see the Peel District School Board website?
Yep.
Right, sounds good. So you're just going to go to peelschools.org. I'm sure you've all seen this website before, and you're going to log into your BYOD, and that's going to take you here to your student portal. And here on this side, you see this app, which is called My Blueprint. You're going to click on that, and it's going to take you to this very cool site that you're going to be spending a lot more time on than you'd ever anticipate. And so this is what My Blueprint looks like. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Like there's some fun activities. You can use it to make resumes if you're applying for a summer job or something. But what we're going to be doing today is clicking on the high school tab here on the right side. And here you can see all the courses I've ever taken. But what do you do when you need to select a course? So I'm not coming back for an additional year next year. But if I were, I would click this box here that has like the plus sign and the course. So I click that. And when you're in grade 9, 10, 11, or 12, there are different required courses each year that we'll be talking about later in the presentation. But you'll see that that plus course box will say like plus math because it means that you're required to take a math course. So where do you find your math course? Well, you can go by grade, you can go by discipline. So let's say that I'm in grade 10 and I need to take math. So we have two folders for Central Peel, at least, because we have AP courses and just regular courses as well. So as you can see, I took Principles of Mathematics AP when I was in grade 10. So that would be in the AP folder. But if that didn't apply to you, you would just click here, the Mathematics folder, and you could see you could take math at the locally developed level. You can take it at the applied level, or you could take it at the academic level. So as you can see, different schools offer courses at different levels. And that's just basically how you find it. I'd click the course I was going to take. I would add it like that, and ta-da, it would appear in My Blueprint. I'm just going to delete that now. But if I was in like just kind of going on to the idea of prerequisite courses. So let's say you are currently a grade 10 student and you want to take law. So I would just go find that in Canadian and World Studies under law, and I want to take grade 11 law per se. I'm going to say grade 12 law. As you can see, there's this long list of prerequisite courses here. And prerequisite basically means before you can take this course, you've had to take in one of these courses, not all of these courses, one of them. So this is grade 12 Canadian International Law. You could have taken grade 11 law. I think this is philosophy, I'm not sure. You could have taken religion. You could have taken economics, English, psychology, anthropology, and sociology. So these are possible courses you could have taken, and you would have had to take at least one of them before you can take this course. So that's called a prerequisite course. And that's how we choose courses on My Blueprint. If you have any questions about My Blueprint, you can just add them to the chat and we will try to answer them towards the end of this presentation.
Okay, so now we're at grade 9 courses. So first off, we'll start with the middle school kids and what this whole process means. So when you enter grade 9, you would already have a set of required courses for you to take. For example, as you can see in the list here, you have to take a math, an English course, a French course, a science course, a geography course, and a gym course. So here in high school, gym is usually split between female and male, and 2 electives, which are like arts, business, and exploring technology. So I'll talk more about the electives. What electives are courses that you guys get to choose and courses that kind of reflect your interests. So in grade 9, you have a limited availability to choose between these, and they kind of spread apart as you go through high school. So the main 2 electives that you can take are art courses, business courses, and exploring technology courses. And this is specific to Central Peel and what we've experienced. So art courses can be vocal music, band that you've maybe done in middle school, or it could even be strings at Central Peel, which is specifically offered. And then business courses are usually just an introduction, kind of teaching you the, introducing the concepts in business, and that can go towards grade 10 and spread apart into accounting or international business in grade 11. Exploring technology is a course that I took, and it's more of something that gives you a little bit of each part of different designing aspects, whether that be cosmetology or architecture, or designing little buildings. So I can give you an example of like a project I did in that class. As for that class, we had to make bottle rockets and we got to shoot them in the sky. So that was kind of a part where we explored how to design a project and make it come to life.
Okay, so moving on to grade 10 courses. Again, the required courses for this grade are math, English, science, history, civics, and careers. And this year you have the option for 3 electives. So now once you put in your grade 10 courses, you also have a few more options to kind of open up your schedule a little bit. So after grade 9, you have the option to take summer school. So basically what summer school is within your board, you can take 1 course during the month of July. So mainly, I think all 5 of us here took civics and careers in summer school. And this is a course that is very light work-wise. So it's something that we highly recommend taking in summer school just because it's not too dragged out and you get to take a whole other elective during your year. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the math and science courses that you take this year kind of dictate where your pathway is for grade 11 and 12. So let's say you want to go to university that requires a 4U math course. So the only way to get to 4U math is to make sure you take academic math or AP math in grade 10, and then that way, in grade 11, you have the option to take math at university level, college level, or workplace level. And then from there in grade 12, as I'm sure we'll explain in grade 11 courses, so on and so forth. Additionally, if you take applied math in grade 10, I just want to mention how you can only take college level or workplace level. You would not be able to take university level math in grade 11 if you take applied in this year. Again, the math, you can also fast track electives in grade 10. So for example, I only had 2 electives in grade 10 just because I had strings, which takes up 2 courses. So instead of taking a grade 10 elective, I ended up taking grade 11 computer science and grade 11 accounting in grade 10. And by fast tracking, you're able to finish the courses maybe needed for prerequisites in university in grade 11, so you can focus more on your courses in grade 12. And I think that's good.
Okay, so moving on to grade 11. At this point, this is where you start getting a lot more choice of what you want to do. So now there's only 2 courses that you need to take, which is math or English. You need 1 grade 11 math, so that can be either functions or data management, but you have 6 other electives. Now these 6 electives, you want to choose based off where you want to go. So whether you're planning on going to university, college, or into the workplace, that'll dictate what level you'll choose. That'll be academic, applied, or locally developed, or the workplace, what's called in grade 11. So when you come to grade 11, you can actually take grade 12 courses too. For example, I took physics and chemistry in grade 11, like all four of them. I took grade 11 physics, grade 11 chemistry, and then grade 12 chemistry and grade 12 physics in my grade 11 year. You want to start thinking about where you want to go into university a little bit. Kind of start planning out what courses you need and what the prerequisites are for those grade 12 courses, because you don't want to end up in a place where you want to take a course in grade 12, but you didn't take it in grade 11, and now you have no space to take it in grade 12 either. So here you want to start thinking about your top 6 courses which your university will look at. Try getting the prerequisites right. Think about where you want to go into. If you can't choose at that point, it's no big deal. I didn't choose at that point either. You can just take a little bit of everything and keep your options open. Usually taking the science is a safe shout, because if you're trying to go into engineering, for example, you'll need physics, chemistry. So you want to plan accordingly, take grade 11 physics and chemistry. Same thing with going into medical, you'll need biology. Other than that, you can take courses such as technology, business, humanities, arts. Yeah, at this point, there's a lot of choice. Just the only thing you need to really keep in mind is that you have your prerequisites right, and you're not getting stuck in a point where you don't have something you'll need in grade 12.
So how about each of us just talk about a grade 11 course that we really liked? Because I know there's a large array of courses that you can choose, and some of you may be a little confused on which ones you think are good for your interests or which ones you think could be mark boosters. So I'll start, and I'll just talk about a course that I took, and that was grade 11 computer technology. And I'm not the type of person that really likes the computers and stuff like that, but I kind of took it because I thought I could develop an interest in it and just get a basic knowledge of what computers entail, or different parts of software and different stuff like that. So what that course was a lot about was coding, whether that be we coded little robots and got an introduction to how to code things and do software. We also got an introduction on computer hardware. So an assignment that we did was to break apart a computer and then put it back together. And we had to write down the steps that we used and identify different parts, which I thought was pretty cool. So a course for me I took was an elective. I took grade 11 international business. So grade 11 international business is one of the courses I really enjoyed because I did have an interest in business. I like to talk about finances, and I like to have discussions in groups, and business was an interest of mine. So that course we had group discussions often, and we always discussed about global situations, about different businesses, about how we can expand our business skills, and I really liked that. For example, a project we did for our summative was creating a report on an existing business and how we would expand that to a different country. So personally, I did Sage, which is a Canadian business that I wanted to introduce in a different country, and that was a very fun project I found, as it let me bring all my skills together into creating one big report that was nearly like 100 pages.
A grade 11 elective that I really enjoyed was computer science. And so by taking the computer science course in grade 11, or I guess I took it in grade 10, it was a grade 11 elective, where I was able to kind of figure out what I wanted to do in the future. So this just goes to show how an elective that like I didn't even know I wanted to do and I took just because it was available led me to kind of know more about my interests and understand things that I like and things that I don't like.
Okay, and so I think one of the things I want to point out before I talk about the courses I took is that it's okay if you don't know what you want to do in university. Like, you don't have to figure that out. You don't even have to figure that out in grade 12. People change their minds so often. You shouldn't feel ashamed if you don't know what you want to do, because you've got your whole life to figure it out. And the other thing is, if you do know what you want to do, don't just close yourself off to that one thing. So for example, I'm this year applying to life sci programs in university, and I took a lot of humanities electives. I took law for 2 years. I took AP psychology, which was a life-changing course for me. I loved that course so much. I love the teacher. I love the environment. I love the content. And so that didn't necessarily steer me away from the life sciences, but it just helped me get a better understanding of who I am. And, it just like solidified what I'm interested in. So even if you think I want to go into business only, don't just shut yourself off to that. Don't be afraid to, maybe take an arts course, take a science course, because you really don't know what you like until you try it. Okay, so moving on to grade 12. So I know there are a lot of grade 11 students here who want all the tea on grade 12. So we're just going to be talking about the required courses in grade 12. And the fun thing is there's only one. It's grade 12 grade 12 English. That's it. You can take it at any level. So you can take workplace English, you can take college English, or you can take university level English. And if you are applying to university, as I assume most of our audience here today is, English is the only course that every single university requires. So if you want to go into like a psychology program, depending on whether it's a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, they might not require math at all, but they will require English regardless. So English is definitely an important course, even though everyone always assumes like it's easy, it doesn't matter. English is very, very important, and it's the only course you have to take for all 4 years. But the cool thing in grade 12 is that the rest of your courses are all elective. So this is definitely where it comes into what courses you need to get into your university program. And I'm actually going to show you on my blueprint. Can you confirm that you can see my blueprint on my screen? Okay, awesome. So if you go to post-secondary here and you click college and university, let's say you're looking at a particular program. Once this loads, okay, let's say, okay, these programs do not work. I'm interested in life sciences. So I can search for that program, and this is my blueprint, it's the same site where you would choose your courses. I could go look at life sciences at Queen's, and it gives you a little bit about the program. And if you click here on the requirements, you can see what courses you have to take to get into that program. And if you see, excuse me, these little check marks on the screen here, the reason why they're there is because it looks at the courses I picked for my high school transcript, like we were looking at before. And if the check mark means that I have that course already planned. So it's kind of cool because you can actually look at university programs you're interested in, and then it double checks for you to make sure that you have the courses to get into those programs. So that's definitely something cool that if you're in grade 12, going into grade 12, or even like if you're in grade 9 and 10, you're starting to think ahead, definitely go onto my blueprint, go onto the university college section, and just look at what courses are required. And this way you can think of that and keep that in mind when you're choosing from your elective. I know another thing that a lot of people are concerned about in grade 12 is marks. As grade 12 students, we can tell you marks definitely are important when you're applying to university. And a lot of people have a question about like what courses are going to boost my marks. So there are courses in general that are considered to be easier because they're usually M courses. This is my M, and those are mixed, so college university level. So they're not as difficult as university level courses, but universities will see them the same. So I know a course offered at Central Field is Human Growth and Development, HGD, and it's an M course, which means it's college or university level. But if it was in your top 6, universities would accept that course. They wouldn't see it as any less because it's below the university level. They would accept that course. And so something like that, if you're, heading to university, you're taking like maths and sciences, you may find that that's an easier course for you and it does boost your marks. But I think mark boosters are definitely, they change from school to school. So definitely when you're in grade 9, 10, 11, talk to the older students, talk about what courses they took, what the marks were like, what the experience was like being in that class with that teacher and that environment. And the last thing I'm just going to add about mark boosters is that what boosts your mark is relative to your average. So if you're in grade 9 and 10, you probably have no clue what this means. If you're in grade 11, let's say you have a mid-80s average. And you take a course, and a lot of people in that course usually get like low 90s. You know that a low 90 and like 92 in this course is going to boost your average because you have like an 85. So getting a 92 is higher. Your average is going to go up. But let's say you got a solid average of like a 95%, and you take the same course and you get a 92, even though that's a mark booster for somebody, it's actually dropping your average for somebody else.
Yeah, something I just like to add on a little. Yeah, you want to choose courses that will get you into university and are required. Always think of something that you can have fun with, or that'll just be there to just lighten the load a little bit and be the mark booster as well. Like for example, I took robotics this year, and honestly, last quadrimester I had math and bio, and they are both really heavy courses. So it's literally you come home, it's online, so I come home at around 12 o'clock, and I work until I go to sleep. And if you do that for all 4 of your quadrimesters, or in a normal year, both semesters, you're gonna get drained out. It won't work. So especially when it comes to grade 12 and 11, you can take a spare too. So if you think that's what helps, go for it. Or you can take a fun course that will just boost your average and lighten the load a little bit. And something that to think about is not like necessarily, it doesn't have to be something that is the same pathway as you want to go to. Like I don't plan on going into computer science or robotics or engineering, but I took grade 11 comp sci just to see if I wanted to go there, and I ended up not wanting to go there. And same thing with robotics. I took it because why not, right? It's something you can try out, because when you get into university and you take that specific program, you're probably not going to get to try something other than what you've taken. So keep that in mind. Keep it a little bit lighter too. Don't go out and take 8 hard courses, because you're going to hate yourself when you get to the point when you're doing them.
Just to add on something, I also want you guys to make sure that when you do get into grade 11 and 12 and you do have some sort of interest in what you want to go into in university, to check what your university prerequisites are, because I know that for a lot of programs I'm applying to, they don't count for courses. And although they are mark boosters, it's different from program to program and university to university. And so if and also, there's another note that your top 6 might not be your top 6 averaged marks, because a lot of the programs that I'm applying to have 5 prerequisites and then only 1 additional course that's an elective that's a 4U course. So even though I might have higher marks in some of my elective courses, those won't be sent. Just because my prerequisites may not align with the electives.
And I just want to add that you shouldn't really only take courses because you think they'll be mark boosters. Yes, having marks and getting good marks is a big aspect of high school, but that's not the whole picture. And I know that a lot of students, especially in grade 11 and 12, want to choose courses that will boost their average or other kids have done well in. And of course, those are good ideas. Like, yes, you can get a good average with certain courses, but it all depends on your interest and if you are willing to work hard in that class. So like, I'll talk about an example. And I didn't really like law, but I still took it because I thought I could gain an interest doing that course. And a lot of kids told me they liked it too. And I ended up taking it and didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So if you look into it, I would have chosen more courses that I thought I would have liked instead of going into something so last minute that I knew I wouldn't like, if that kind of made sense. So what I do is usually not focus on the mark 100% and kind of consider aspects that you think you'll like of the course. Maybe look through what the course entails, what materials you'll go through, talk to some students, and then choose.
For real,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can't stress this enough. My blueprint is your best friend throughout high school, because every single course you take has a detailed explanation of what the course is, what you'll cover in it. And so that's how I chose most of my electives, to be honest. Like, I just read the description. I didn't really focus on what people told me that they didn't like, just because I knew that I'm a whole different person, right? So my interests may not align with theirs. And just because they got a good mark, we have to stress this enough, doesn't mean that you'll get a good mark. It doesn't depend on the course. It depends on your effort and on the student. So if you're willing to put in that effort, you'll 100% get something out of it.
Yeah, and so kind of the last 2 points I want to touch on is something that Paneet mentioned earlier, the idea of a spare. So you need to only take 30 courses. You need 30 credits to graduate from high school. And if you take 8 courses each year for 4 years, if I did the math right, that's 32 courses. So is that right? Okay, good. So that basically means that you can actually choose to just not take a course in a certain period. So for example, this year I'm in grade 12. I have to this point, well, when I started grade 12, I had already had 24 credits. So I only needed 6 more courses to graduate. So I could actually take 2 spares this year, meaning that I could only take 6 courses. And it's really important to give yourself a break. High school is an amazing time. And once you're there, you will really, really enjoy it. But you need to give yourself the time you need to enjoy it. You need time to actually enjoy doing work for your classes. You need time to actually get involved in extracurriculars. So if you need a break and you can afford it in your schedule, then definitely take a spare. And the other thing is a point CMA that I really think is definitely important, especially when you're already in high school. So for our grade 9s, 10s, and 11s watching this, talk to older students. It'll make a world difference. Reach out to your teachers, after class. Like if you have grade 10 science right now and you want to, your teacher also teaches grade 11 chemistry, like go talk to your teacher about whether they think you do well in that class, kind of what do you learn in this class? Like what's the, is it a lot of labs? Is it a lot of hands-on learning? That'll really, really help you in choosing courses for yourself and in discovering what you're interested in.
And I just want to add what Gerline said about spares. For certain students, you can get spares if you've done extra courses. For example, if you've done summer school, like we said, taking civics and careers, or taking international languages classes out of school, or night school. So it all depends on what you want. So for example, if you have the opportunity to take summer school, I would suggest taking them as a high school student now, as it will give you a larger opportunity to take more courses or just take spares. So an example for me was every Saturdays, I used to do international languages school since grade 9. And that helped me get more spares in grade 11 and 12 when I thought I had a very heavy schedule. I wasn't stressed about keeping up that 30 course limit, or like you have to have this many courses to graduate, because I already had extra courses which could help me get more spares.
Okay, so I know we've talked a lot, so it is before we go into the live question and answer period, we're just going to go over some of the questions that we got in the Google form when you were signing up. So I'm just going to read that out, and anyone here, like the 4 of us, the 5 of us, can respond openly. Okay, so the first question is, does summer school courses, specifically for English slash physics, affect a university's perception of you? I mean, I guess I can start with this, but English is a prerequisite for almost every single university program. And applying to university right now, when we look at our application page, universities can see where you took that course. If you took it in day school, if you took it at summer school. So again, it depends on what programs you're applying to and what university, because there are different recommendations for all of them. But I know that for English at Waterloo, if you take it in summer school, it's an automatic 5% reduction because it's a prerequisite. So if you take summer school classes for prerequisites, I don't think universities might penalize you. And that's just because they recommend taking all prerequisites in day school. If it's not a prerequisite, then by all means, go for it in summer school. But again, something like physics and something like English, they're both kind of heavy courses, and doing them in a month, I don't think that you'll learn as much as you could during day school.
And something I want to add too is that I would recommend taking them for elective courses or courses that you know that aren't within your top 6 or that aren't required for university.
So like food and nutrition.
Yeah, and take courses that you think you're interested in, or if you're in grade 9 and 10, take courses that you want so you can find your interest. For example, if you kind of know that you have an interest in life sciences like Gerline, you may want to take different courses that go towards that, and choose them that are so they're not a part of your top 6. So I see another question in the chat, and it's, how do you avoid academic burnout? And I can speak a lot on this because last quad, my sister and I both had AP biology and AP advanced functions, and it was a really heavy workload. And so what I would tell you first is don't take a lot of heavy classes in 1 year. So that would prevent your courses from conflicting and that being a heavy issue. And the biggest idea for academic burnout is spread out your work. So I think the best thing that worked for us since grade 9, I think I've had a very strict schedule. I've kept an agenda and I've always followed that agenda no matter what. And I think that was great for me, because even in grade 9, I knew students who had a lot of burnout and we were in the same classes. And I've always found that contradicting, because I would be in the same class and not be at the same level as them in like how stressed they were. And that was because I kept a great schedule and ensured that I had all my tasks completed in a timeline. So I'm telling you to follow your deadlines and don't try to procrastinate. And also participate in extracurriculars. Like, we know that school is important and obviously marks are something that you should be focusing on, but also kind of dive into your interests. Like, I know my sister and I were able to develop a lot of extracurricular activities, like even Sparkin STEM, that kind of gave us some free time and gave us some time to relax and not focus on school so much.
Yeah, I think the simple answer to that question is honestly, give yourself a break when you need it. 4 years in the AP program, I can tell you it is a very fast pace. There's a lot of work to do, but had I not given myself the self-care I needed, I don't think I'd be here today. Being able to tell you about my experiences in the last 4 years and having such a positive experience to share So, if you're in grade 9 and you just had a really rough week and you have a lot of homework to do, but your friends are like, okay, let's play like Among Us tonight. Like just for one night, do it. Because the next morning when you wake up and you got that break you need, you'll be ready to go back to your work with a fresh mind. And I know work is very addicting, especially when you like it and you want to do well. But you need to give yourself a break. That's probably the best way you can sustain yourself in a rigorous program.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to say with the whole academic, like burning yourself out, a lot of the time when you get to grade 11 and 12, you'll kind of be able to predict which semester you'll have the course in, depending on what courses you take. So let's say I took in grade 11 and grade 12 physics. 99% of, like, okay, no, actually 100%, the chances, first semester you'll have grade 11 physics and second semester you have grade 12 physics. So that kind of gives you a little structure. Okay, I know I'm going to have this course in this semester and the rest of my courses. You can kind of a little bit plan out accordingly, and you can plan out your time too, knowing that at this period of time, I will have these courses for sure. So let's say you take physics and chemistry in grade 11. Now you know 2 of your courses both semesters, and you can kind of plan accordingly. Other than that, hopefully this helps with the fast tracking too. That was another question that I saw. You can take grade 12 and 11, or no, okay, you can take grade 11 courses starting grade 10 and grade 12 courses starting grade 11, because most likely you'll have your prerequisites done or you'll be doing them in the same year. Once again, coming back to the sciences, I think that's like the easiest one to go through. You'll see that the grade 12, or let's say bio this time, the prerequisites are grade 11 bio. And the prerequisite for grade 11 bio would be grade 10 science, whatever level you're doing, whether that be university or college, depending on what you're doing in grade 11 and 12. So now in grade 11, you're already done grade 10 science, so you can take grade 11 bio, and then at the same time, in the next semester, you can take grade 12 bio because you're already done the prerequisite. So it might be a little bit confusing at the beginning, but as you go through, you'll realize it's not that hard, and you can take grade 12 courses in grade 11 and grade 11 in grade 10.
Going back to the academic burnout, I think that one thing that's important to remember is if you don't think you're good at a subject, but you know it's a prerequisite, it's perfectly okay to take it at a lower level. And by doing so, not only are you making it easier for yourself, but it's easier to learn when you actually understand what's going on. And I feel like that's the easiest way to put it. So if you know that maybe math is not your best subject, you can take applied math and then go into college, because in grade 12 you don't need math, and maybe you're going to go into a career that doesn't need math. And by doing that, not only are you making the workload easier on yourself, but you're preventing kind of like, oh, I'm only doing it because my friend's doing it. So remember, it's just choose your courses based on you, not based on what your friends are doing.
Do we have any other questions from the Google form before we come to the questions in the chat?
We do. Okay, so the next question is, what courses do you recommend for students who will be choosing grade 11 courses but still don't know what they want to do / what they like? My biggest advice for this is, I was someone who didn't really know what they wanted to do when I was going into grade 11. So just know what you don't want to do. So like, I knew I did not want to be a doctor. So I knew that bio was not something that I wanted to take in high school. So I was able to split my sciences up as per physics in grade 11 and then chem in grade 12. Because I knew that I wouldn't need bio, and so I wouldn't have to do chem in grade 11. So similarly, let's say you know that you don't want to go into engineering. Okay, you don't need to take physics, I believe, right? So it's just things like that. And by cutting out stuff that you know you don't want to do, it's easier to kind of select your future or select your pathway.
It's okay if you don't know what you want to do. What I would suggest for that is honestly just spread yourself as wide as you can and take, obviously you need in grade 11, you need your grade 11 math, so you need functions and you need your English, but then you've got 6 courses that you could do anything. So if you don't know if you want to be like a doctor, an engineer, you don't know what you want to do, take all 3 sciences if that's something that interests you. Unless one of them you can rule out, like Sia said. Let's say you're not sure if you like law. Take law, see how it goes for you. Grade 11 is definitely a time of exploration because you don't have to take anything that counts for grade 12. Of course, the AP program works a little bit differently in the way that we do our sciences. So if you take physics, for example, you'll take grade 11 physics in the first semester and grade 12 physics in the next semester. So all of us already finished one of our sciences last year, and we're doing our second science in grade 12. But if you're not in a program like that, you can pick any courses you want. It doesn't really matter what you do in grade 11, because the more you explore, the more things you try, the more sure you'll be for grade 12.
Yeah, okay, just another thing to add on with the whole choosing what you want to do. Like honestly, I've applied for university already and I still don't know what I want to do. But like it all comes down to just narrowing down as you get there. So for me, I took comp sci and law in grade 10. So they're both grade 11 courses. And as soon as I took comp sci, I realized, okay, that's one thing I don't want to do. So that's out. Law, I thought, okay, if I might be able to do it, but when it comes down to that thing, you don't really need to go a specific undergraduate program in university. So that was kind of like a secondary thing. And then coming to grade 11, I took physics, chemistry, and stats. So that's, you can go engineering. For chemistry kind of opens it up to go into medical or being a doctor. And stats, you can go into accounting and other things. In grade 9 and 10, I took business too, so I kind of knew what that was going on over there. And then now coming down to grade 12, I've taken robotics and bio. So I personally applied to accounting and med sci, life sci programs. But if I wanted to, I could have gone into business, I could have gone into physics, engineering, I could have gone into medical line, I could have gotten into some sort of social science line that only requires law. And yeah, so just try and take some things out, and other than that, just try to do as much as you can. Branch out, say what you want to do. Try start early. Don't leave your grade 11 courses just grade 11 if you're not sure what you want to do, just because you might not necessarily have the space to take all the courses if you're still not decided at that point.
So I just want to add quickly that if you're in grade 10 and you're kind of confused, but you want to know, you're knowing that you want to go into a science program like engineering, medicine, or just science in general, take chem, because chem is required for any type of field like in the sciences. So chem will give you a broader aspect and let you choose in grade 12 and give you more time if you want physics or bio.
Before we move on quickly, I just want to remind everyone that when you go to My Blueprint, you'll see different groups as well, like a group 1 course, group 2 course. And we explained this previously in other Q&A sessions, so you can check it out on YouTube if you want to like go over that. But just to mention quickly, like something that I noticed for my grade 12 year is I didn't have a group 1 social science course. Like I didn't have a grade 11 social science course. So I had to take law over the summer because I was unsure about how guidance would handle it. So make sure you go over all of your group 1s and your required courses in order to graduate, so you know that you have all the required courses. And that's just something I wanted to mention because I had to go through that. Okay, so next question. Are you able to apply for a program that you didn't get into before, like for grade 10? No. So if you want to apply for a regional program, you would have to apply it in grade 9. But there's SHISM and high school majors that we kind of explained during the beginning, where you apply for in grade 10 to go into it in the grade 11 year. Also, I just wanted to mention it's completely okay if you don't get into a regional program. It's not the end of the world, because literally every single high school in Peel, in every region, is insanely good for education. And I promise you, you will learn, you will get the education, the topmost, and it will be fine. It's not the end of the world.
So another question I see here in the chat is, how do you decide which programs to apply for when entering high school? I'm assuming you mean courses for high school, because that's a very early time to decide which programs for university. So in grade 9, you'll have 6 courses that you'll need anyway. So math, English, science, gym, and geography, right? I think that's the 6. No, that's 5. I'm missing a course. But there's 6 courses that you're gonna have to take in grade 9 anyway, and then you have 2 other things. And if you mean regional programs, honestly, it depends on the person. If you think you can handle a greater workload, because courses like AP and IB are harder than, or not necessarily harder, they're more work than you would find in an academic or applied class. If you think you can handle that, go for it. If you think that you just want to go to university or college and stick to an easier course or less workload, stay in the normal one. Also, it depends on your interests too. For something like IBT or SciTech, because they are more engineering based or computer science based programs. And if you think that's something you would like to explore, even if you're not sure if you want to do that at university, go for it. It's a new experience. It won't hurt. Anything new, trying something else, it will never It's not a disadvantage. If anything, it'll benefit you in the future.
And also, don't limit yourself because you think it will be too hard. Apply for them and try it out and just see if you get in. Maybe see if you think you'll be fit for their program and then apply. Don't limit yourself thinking that you're inferior. Because I know everyone can be equal in the playing field to get into AP and IB.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
so
move
let's
on.
move on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to the next question. Does taking STEM mean that students are required to take extra math and science courses? No,
No.
just simply like no.
There are 3 maths off. So everyone has to take math in grade 9, 10, and 11. And in grade 12, there's 3 maths. Most universities will require, depending on the program, of course, if you're going into like a math-based program, you'll usually need advanced functions and calculus. There's also data management or statistics, which is the 3rd math. It's, you can take that one instead. Let's say you want to go into business, you don't want to do advanced functions calculus, you can take data management. But this is something you can plan for when you're picking your university courses.
Okay, so we're going back to the chat questions because everything else on the form we've already covered. So someone a while ago asked, would you suggest doing the 0.5 credits over summer like civics? So again, yes, this is what we talked about near the beginning as well. Civics and careers is a very light course workload wise, so I feel like it's very doable over the summer, especially because during normal school, like day school, it'll be insanely dragged out and you will probably be bored in class. Okay, next question in the chat. How do you decide? Oh, we just did that. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Oh, do you guys recommend night school or summer school?
Okay, if I can start.
Mhm.
So again, it depends on the course. So if you're taking a grade 9 or 10 course in summer school, well, you wouldn't be taking a grade 9 course, you'd be taking a grade 10 course or a grade 11 elective, that's fine. Like if you don't have space to take law in day school and you want to give it a shot, go ahead and do it in summer school. But if you're applying, when you get to the end of grade 11 and you're thinking about grade 12 courses, you're thinking about where you want to apply to university, don't take the big courses that are required, things like English, physics, whatever it is, in summer school, because you may be penalized by the university. Of course, they all have their different things, but like in general, you probably learn more taking a course for 5 months than you do for taking it for a month. So definitely, like for the big courses, try to take them in school. Night school is only offered 2nd semester when you're and they only offer grade 12 courses, and that's for people who either failed a course or they want to repeat the course and get a higher mark, or just there was some type of timetable issue, they couldn't figure it out. So night school is like a last resort. We don't recommend night school unless you get to, grade 12 and you're like, oh no, like I never did this course, I'm missing this, I changed my mind about where I want to apply to university. But otherwise, like, yes, use summer school if you want to free up some time, but be careful about what courses you take.
I just want to add on, I think this year night school and summer school worked a little different. I know it was all online for summer school, and night school is offered for both semesters. I have some friends that actually took them, and specifically I have some friends that want to go into life sciences and they took all the sciences because they just wanted to get a easier scope of all of them. So it really depends on how you think you can balance your workload. Yes, sometimes summer school may be kind of a bummer to do during the summer if you want to go travel, if you want to do something else. But if you have the time, might as well do it to free up your schedule.
Also, another thing with night school, only do it if you know you can manage it, because night school could get really hard. Because let's say you have a really hard semester anyway, and then you take a course at night where you have to take another 3 or 4 hour class at night and do their work. It could become really hard. I've known some people last year in my grade 10 year when I talked to some of the grade 12s who took night school. They were always tired, first of all, because one of the person I knew, they took calculus at night. So he would stay up doing the homework at night because his class would be in the evening. And then he also has to do the school homework. So if you think you can manage it and the semester is easy enough, only do it as like a last resort. I wouldn't recommend going into it. Like, let's use another example. If I was to take night school this coming quadmester, I have math and bio again in one quadmester. Now, let's say I go and take another night school and I have to spend another 6 or 7 hours doing the class plus the homework. It won't work. It's not something that you should be looking at thinking, oh, I still have night school left if I don't get anything. That should be like your last resort if nothing else works out.
Also, a lot of the questions that we received in the form related to AP courses and how they kind of work. So I just want to state right now that a lot of the AP courses, none of them require you to take the AP exam. So you can take the AP course and learn the subject, but you are in no way, shape, or form required to take the AP exam. So I just wanted to say that. And then I just feel like the difference between an AP and academic workload or a class is just AP goes way more in depth in the same amount of time. So you would be learning a lot more at a higher level, I believe, in an AP course versus academic. Anyone have to add anything?
Just
You
one
wanna-
more thing about the
oh,
whole night school thing. Sorry, before we continue, right? The whole like thing about where there's the question was that the AP and other courses. I'm not sure about how the IB courses work, but for AP, you can't take AP courses in summer school. Before you plan on taking like an AP physics in summer school, it's only academic courses that you can take in summer school, and I'm pretty sure for night school too. So yeah, you won't be able to take AP courses in summer school.
And I think someone asked in the chat about AP Psych. So I'll give a little intro about that. That was, I think, one of my favorite classes I've ever taken. I've enjoyed that class so much. And it really goes into depth about yourself, and it kind of shows you the different aspects of society that you would never consider. So different topics that we learned, I guess, would be the biological basis of behavior. So like there's certain things in your brain, how society works, I guess, and how we social psychology and how we act in different situations. So I think someone else also asked another question. What if your school doesn't offer a course you want to take, but other high schools do? So that can be a limitation that that does occur for many people. And you could always take a course in summer school if you see that another school does have it. But if it is one that you need for your prerequisite for university, I think that's a very bad case if your school doesn't have it. But usually that doesn't happen in grade 12. Like if it's an elective like art, maybe like for example, I don't think I was able to get a vocal art in my school. So I had to do international band. Instrumental band. And I think that wasn't a big limitation for me, but there are some schools that offer better courses in specific fields than others.
Somebody in the chat asked about peer learning choices. We did a session on this a couple of weeks ago, and so it's up on our YouTube channel, which is Sparkin STEM. We had people come in from different regional programs like IB, AP, IBT, regional arts, and we just had them answer some questions. So if you want to go into the Sparkin STEM YouTube channel, you can go and watch that session if you're currently in grade 7. Or if you already applied and you want some more information before making your decision, you can go and watch that video.
Binol just sent a chat in, or sent the link of the video in the chat.
So it's getting close to the end of our session, and I would like to wrap things up. As mentioned before, if you have any questions, don't feel free to DM Sparking STEM on Instagram to get more information, and follow our YouTube channel if you want to see more about our organization and want to learn more about high school from our previous sessions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Stay updated with Sparking STEM, and thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed.
And you'll see a lot more of us in the new year. All right?
Yes.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Good luck for all of your course needs.